my family moved into this lap of luxury that we're in now. We used to live in a much smaller home. And when we were preparing to sell that home, we had a bunch of landscaping that needed to be done in the backyard. And part of that landscaping was removing English ivy, huge, massive beds of English ivy, which if any of our viewers or listeners have attempted to extract, there is no fun way to do it. But there is a slightly less crappy way to do it, which is to go to Harbor Freight and get yourself a propane flamethrower. And you burn it from space. Well, it turns out in the St. Louis County area that if you are operating a flamethrower after dark, even in the confines of your backyard, your neighbors may call the state troopers on you. And operating a propane flamethrower is not a quiet job. And it turns out that state troopers can be kind of sneaky. So I'm back there and I'm torching weeds and I kind of catch a glimpse of something that I think might be a car headlight, like in my peripheral vision. And so I kind of turn. And because I turned at the waist, I'm pointing a flamethrower at what I soon very quickly find out is two state troopers with flashlights going, whoa, 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 whoa. And it was at that moment that I realized I needed to cut everything off and go, whoa, guys, hey, wait, whoa, let's talk about this. Let's see what's going on. And anyway, we all had a really good laugh at it because the person on the phone claimed that there was a maniac running around with a flamethrower, and I was 70 pounds heavier than I am today. And so I assured them that I definitely wasn't running. And we had a good giggle about the time that I turned a flamethrower on the Missouri State Highway Patrol.
I love that story so much.
Yeah.
But we went live.
Oh, neat.
So welcome everybody. This is episode 171 of Sawdust Talk, and tonight we are joined with our friend Hunter, new friend to TJ, also new friend of mine. We're gonna get all into him in a moment, but TJ, you want to run through sponsors real quick?
Absolutely. Every week, we start the show off by thanking Hannah and the team over at Surf Prep Sanding Systems for their support for over 2 years now. I got into a really interesting conversation with a friend about the application of their 3-inch random orbit sander that they sell. It's like a cute little guy. And I don't personally own one, but I got to thinking that for power sanding with the lathe stationary, I might be able to get into a couple of slightly better nooks and crannies. So we might have to add that one to the kit, especially because I think it still hooks up to dust collection as well. And as a man who schneefs entirely way too much wood turning dust, any way that I can avoid woody boogers is, good news for me. So I'm going to reach out to Hannah and I'm going to see if I can't find a way to get one of those into my hands one way or the other. And if you are shopping on Surf Prep's website, like I will be doing, you can use coupon code Sawdust Talk and save a little bit extra money as well. So Hannah, team, thank you. And expect a phone call or a visit to the website from me in the not too distant future. Next, Sawdust Talk merchandise is easily the most vital piece of your wardrobe for fall 2025. You may have other maker shirts, you may have other podcast shirts, but if you don't have a Sawdust Talk shirt, what are you even doing in this world, right? Let's get it right. Let's get the wardrobe tight and let's swing over to KCBombshell.com and hook yourself up with a luxurious piece of Sawdust Talk merchandise. And while you're there, check out Layla's awesome scroll saw art. It's geeky. It's tattoo flash inspired awesomeness. Go check it out. Lastly, there is a Patreon for this channel, which you can join for the low price of $5 a month. And that is significantly less than a double cheeseburger at Five Guys. In fact, you could sponsor our show for dang near 3 months for less than a double cheeseburger at Five Guys nowadays. That's how cheap our Patreon is. But we use the proceeds from Patreon to help pay for lodging, travel, and accommodations to the maker meetups, much like Maker Camp, which is 10 days? 10 days away.
Woo.
And
We're
that's
excited.
where all the cool kids are going to hang out. And so if you want to be one of the cool kids and you want to get a high five or a hug from Jessie and I, better find a way. Got to get to the Catskills. That's where all the cool kids are going to be. But yes, please go to Patreon/Sawdust Talk. A $5 a month subscription makes a world of a difference, and maybe we can get Jessie a better internet connection. It's not 100 neediest cases, but boy, would that be nice for all the parties involved. We look forward to seeing you out there.
Thanks, TJ.
You're welcome,
Always
Jessie.
the bus with my big city Jessie connection to the internet, and it's awesome. What's more awesome is Hunter. You're an East Coast friend, and we appreciate your time tonight. Why don't you we'll just start with the softball. Like, who are you? Why are you?
Who am I and why am I? I'm Hunter. I am a custom furniture maker based in Scarborough, Maine. Why am I? Well, it's a long story, but
tell us all the words. We want the whole thing.
All the words. You want my introduction to woodworking story? Is that a why am I? All right, let's get into it. I first probably became aware of woodworking through the World Wide Web of YouTube, and kind of was fascinated and just watched for a little while without getting into it on my own. And then I got married and moved into an apartment and needed furniture. And granted, we did do a big run to IKEA, but I knew I wanted some nicer stuff eventually. And I've always kind of been crafty, artistic, and figured, why not? Let's try to build something myself. And so first thing, found a table saw on Craigslist. That's kind of what started the dominoes. From there, just kind of started building little things in the shop, standard small things like cutting boards, what have you. But I kind of knew I wanted to build furniture. So I didn't spend a lot of time messing around with smalls, and kind of quickly moved into I made a side table and a coffee table, and then decided to build a dining table soon after that. And at that point I knew I really like this. This is fun what we do. This is cool. And so my brain started to work a little bit and be like, well, this is maybe what you could do down the road professionally. And so, I kept learning, growing on my own, making mistakes, all that good cliche woodworking jargon. And then probably about a year and a half of me messing around on my own. So I live in Maine, where we have a wonderful woodworking school called the Center for Furniture Craftsmanship. If you are not familiar with it, it is one of the best, in my opinion, woodworking schools in the country. And they do scholarships for some of their classes. And so I applied to get a scholarship to their 2-week advanced furniture making class, with just showing work I had done in the past, on my own. And I got accepted for the scholarship and went, and big win. Went and took that class, and that just made it all click. 2 weeks of full immersion in a fully kitted out workshop with everybody else there for the exact same reason you are, with instructors that are incredibly knowledgeable, just at your every call. I give so much of the credit of the trajectory of my woodworking journey to CFC, and that just sparked something in me, for sure. And so did that, felt really good about where I was at, craftsmanship wise. I was putting out good quality work, understood basics of woodworking, wood movement and things like that, to know that my pieces were going to be able to stick around for the long haul. And so from there, I had accumulated some more tools and stuff, and started to take on commission work here and there. And so I think the term I use for what I build is like standalone pieces of furniture. I don't do cabinetry. I mean, I've done it. I don't like to do it. So tables are what I do a lot, but that's kind of sparked the journey there. And soon after, I went and worked for a furniture maker here locally for like 6 months, kind of like apprenticed with him. And then at that point, kind of felt good enough to go on my own and do it. And the past 2 years, we've been doing it as my profession. It's pretty sweet.
Nice.
That's my story. That's me.
Full timer.
Yeah. It's a journey. It's a journey.
What did you do before woodworking?
Yeah.
So you have I was in the what was before this?
Yeah, so I was in the food industry actually. Like my first job was at like a fast food-ish, like upscale healthy fast food joint. And a couple years into that, I had like worked up and was managing a location and ran that. And then when I got married, I was like working so much and left that and ended up going to work at a bakery. And so those first couple early years of like woodworking was me going in super early at the bakery, like 4:35, getting out at like 1, and then having like several hours in the daytime where my wife was working as a teacher to like mess around in the shop. And so that like balance was definitely there for a while. But yeah, so food industry, that was it. Happy to be out of it.
Kidding.
That is awesome. So now that you are doing standalone furniture, as you describe it, is there a specific type of piece that revs your engine the most? Or is there like a dresser with drawers is something that just like gets you out of bed and puts your feet on the ground and makes you think, you know what, it's time to touch tools? What do you think if you were gonna pigeonhole yourself into something that you could do 2 or 3 of a month?
Yeah. I do a lot of dining tables. And I would say dining tables, like it's such like a similar form, like you're not varying in dimensions that much for most dining tables. But you can get really creative with design. And even though, I could make 2 dining tables in a month or whatever, like they could be completely different in like most every regard, except that they're both 30 inches tall, like, so I would say dining tables. And it also like from a business standpoint, like dining tables are pretty good profit wise. Like it's easier to convince a client, a dining table's worth the money than a credenza that has 8 drawers that all need to be built, and it's a way steeper price tag for something like that. So dining tables are easier, and that's kind of what I have been doing mostly for the past 2 years, and it's worked out good. And like as you build things and grow your toolkit, your shop kind of like adapts to what you're building. So like I have a drum sander and I have a panel clamp rack, which like most 900 square foot shops would not have in their space. But since I glue tabletops up, it like makes perfect sense for me. And so, yeah, tables is my answer.
Okay. So because you are taking table commission work, I kind of have a question about table legs, because this is something that just captivates me, right? Because you traditionally see like a pedestal or like center farmhouse legs that mount in the center of the table, and then there's room for everybody's legs around the outside, right? Mm-hmm. Or 4 legs in the corners. Do you find people ordering one more than the other? Follow-up question: is it wood or steel that is the hot thing right now? Tell us what's been going on in your universe and part of the country.
Yeah, in my area. And, I would also say like you put out the work you want people to come buy from you. So I'm not doing a bunch of, I don't do like farmhousey stuff very much. I'm pretty modern in my designs, so I don't get a lot of people coming to me saying they want like a farmhousey pedestal. I did do a pedestal a couple months ago that was I don't think I posted it anywhere actually, which is crazy because it's super cool. It was actually turned, but it was like a bulbous turned base, and it was 24 or 26 inches at its widest point. So I don't have a lathe big enough for that, so I literally had to make a lathe jig with a router and turn it manually and like follow a template I had created and then hand shape a little bit and stuff. It was super cool, but that was like a very modern,
very rad. Yeah,
like a modern interpretation of a pedestal table. But I would say
nerdy on you and TJ are gonna get nerdy on spinning, on turning.
Yeah. I don't do a ton of it other than like, but that was like a big stacked lamination. Like it had a little bit of an ash core so I could save on walnut because it was all walnut. 66-inch top. Yeah, it was super cool with like an X brace half lapped and then inlaid into the top of the base. Super cool. Super heavy, like several hundred pounds. But yeah, for most of my tables, I don't do a lot of pedestals. So it's usually 4 legs, and whenever I can, I talk a client out of metal. I like to do all wood if I can. I don't know. I think that's something I do a lot is I kind of like guide my clients into like the direction that I like kind of want them to be. So like I offer them like 6 species of woods. I don't stain or anything like that. And I give them design choices, but you know, I work them in the direction that obviously they're happy with at the end of the day, but it also like excites me too. And one of the things I like to like go by is like I try to do something new in every piece, you know. And yeah, it's fun. It's fun that way. But I kind of have like, you know, while I would say like I'm still early enough in my woodworking journey where I haven't fully developed like my own personal like style. I do have a couple things. Like I do like to do an exposed end grain in the tops of tables, and it like to where it looks like the legs come up through the top, but like movement wise you can't do that because that would like flex your base and rip it apart. So it's actually just an inlay on the top, but it's placed to where like it looks like the legs come up through the top. And I have a couple tables I've done where there's it's almost like an oval of the leg shape is like almost oval, and then it has a nice like walnut accent on the top to, or like if whatever species it is. But that's kind of where like I like end grain a lot, so I try to find ways to like show it off, and that's
very
a cool
cool.
feature.
I gotta send you an Instagram story then from a guy in St. Louis because he just did a coffee table where most of the exterior facade of all 4 legs is just exposed oak end grain. Yeah. And the first time I looked at it, I was like, I don't know if that's for me. But it's come up in my stories a couple times, and he's put some finish on it and gotten it a lot closer to done. And I was like, well, maybe he's cooking.
Yeah.
Maybe he's cooking. What I want to ask, though, is are you a tapers leg kind of guy, or are you like a sassy compound bandsaw legs kind of guy?
You know, there's place for everything. I don't want to like corner myself here, but like
look, I'm just saying, like if one brings you joy, we want to hear about it.
I like a taper, but I like going outside the box too. You know, like I like to not have a standard like square leg. You know, so like that's where I'm saying like I take a rectangle leg and then I do a full half circle on the ends of it. And it's like this, it's usually like 4 or 5 inches wide, and it like is almost an oval, but not really. And it's like different and cool and still soft. And then like depending on the way that's oriented in the table, I have that where that's like squared to the ends, or I have another table where the ends are the tabletop, is basically the same shape as the legs. And then, so it's like a big long table with half circles on either end. And then the legs are actually 45 towards the center. And it's like, it feels very soft and round, and the whole thing is profiled very round. And then secretly that has a cool feature where you can easily straddle two people on either ends without the legs getting in your way. It's kind of fun. But yeah, I don't know. I like to get creative and do different things and try to find a lane that I can fit in. That's not standard square stock, but not too funky. I don't feel like I'm quite that artistic yet. But
You get
yeah.
there. You get there. I'm gonna take a step back because I mean you and I met at Texas Woodworking Festival, and that was an amazing trip. I had a great time. I think you did too. Yeah, we can all agree that festival is amazing. But I was introduced to you by a friend of ours, Katrina, who was actually on the episode last week, and we're gonna play the question that she played on me. So TJ, with Hunter, he looks so young, but he sounds so knowledgeable, and he has done a lot of stuff in his time woodworking. How old is Hunter?
Hunter is 37.
37. Jessie already knows. You already know, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I can say, all right, I'm 27 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
He went
37
high.
is-
He went
hey,
high.
He went high. No, I do have a baby face, so I get that a lot. It's a joke in my community too.
Well, you do look young, so it's like, I mean, but you have dove headfirst into woodworking, and like you said, like you did the school, you found this passion, and you've done the thing. Your setup behind you, can we talk about that?
Yes, we want to know more about the juicy cistainers on slides. Are you kidding me?
You have to talk about it since some people will not see the video.
Yeah, so I'll show it and talk about it. The system I have on my wall is a cistainer sorting system. It's from a company called Bot Smart Van, and originally they were made for like carpenters, and they like made van fit outs. This is their trailer system, so you can mount it in your workshop, and yeah, it's super cool. So all your sustainers lock in place. So like you lift it and pull it out. So like if it's in a trailer, like it can't slide out and all your stuff falls out or anything. But you know, you can mount all your sustainers. Like the thing is, like before I had this, I had sustainers, like all my Festool boxes and whatever, but like I never realized that like on the side of the sustainers is like a channel that's like designed into them, and it's designed to fit this system for these runners. Like everything is so integrated in like Sustainer, you know, they're all companies basically connected. So Sustainer and Bot Smart Van. So like I was like, I would have had my Sustainers and never known this was a feature in them, but it's super cool. And so like there's shelves that in like these boxes are I have all my hardware. And then they make a wall panel system too, which I've yet to fully fill up with stuff, but just a great organizational system. Like for me, like having a shop that's clean and organized is like very important for me, and it like that plays into efficiency and stuff like that too. But just personality wise, like I think when we built this shop 2.5 years ago, like I was very intentional with like planning my layout, planning my workflow, planning for future growth, excuse me. And like my walls are blue, which you can't really see here. Yeah, they're like a dark blue, and that's just like because I don't like being in a stark white space. Like there's something that's very stale to me about that. And personally, that was just like something that I couldn't do. Yeah, I needed a character. And so like my miter station is like walnut drawer fronts with blue paneling and black laminate countertops and stuff. So like I try to be aesthetic in my workshop as well. But this system, yeah, storage is huge for me. And like half of these sustainers are empty right now, which just means more room to store things. And so I can keep getting more.
More tools.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, it's a cool system for sure. For sure. And I'm dropping lots of content about it.
I know TJ has questions, but I do want to say to our listeners, if you're not seeing the video footage of this, Hunter's mic is on a square.
Yeah,
And
it's a chinois.
It makes me happy.
I grabbed the chinois instead of the woodpeckers. So
You didn't want to look too fancy, right?
Right. We aren't looking at my Omni wall system over there. We're looking at this one.
Yeah. No, I love having places to put things away, but unfortunately, because I'm a spaz and a wood turner, which kind of like goes hand in hand, there's like 3 days a year where I can see the entire floor of my shop.
Yeah.
But I saw the content that you've been making of this sustainer wall, and I was like, oh man, I wonder how much dust I can get all over something like that in my shop.
Yeah. No, I have the luxury of like having a garage door that opens, and then like once a week I blow it out with a leaf blower. I blow the whole shop out. You know, that's the most satisfying thing to me, is when like my concrete floor is actually like my worst thing about the shop. It did not get polished well, and so it just like there's dust in my floor at all times, and so I'm like sweeping and vacuuming, and like it doesn't feel good until I like leaf blow the whole thing out at the end of the week.
Yeah. Oh,
It sounds like Randy needs to get and see your floor.
Is she cutting out for you, TJ?
she is. She's trying to tell you about last
coat.
week we talked a bunch about Katrina's epoxy floors that
She
she's
is doing
gonna
that.
be pouring. Yeah. And she's going to try and cajole you into reaching out to the same people to see if they can get you a class act epoxy floor.
Yeah.
While she's buffering, are you at all familiar with these little guys?
I am. I don't have one though. I don't know how
Okay.
I haven't bought one yet.
Let me tell you a thing or two. This is a majestic little man for somebody who makes wood shavings by the mile.
Yeah.
One of the YouTube University teachers that I follow, Worth the Effort. If you've ever seen him, he's awesome. He was like, you guys got to get one of these things. And I was like, well, if he's told me to, I might as well. And then it showed up. And now I want to put a carabiner and a lanyard on the bottom of it, just so that like I can just clip it to myself.
Clip to your apron.
Dude, seriously, it's the wind velocity on it is awesome. It gets the dust out of the places. Like I used it to clear out my bandsaw the other day because I broke a blade and decided to put new guides on it because, you know, that's what you do. If you don't have one, man, for the guy who has everything, consider it.
Yeah. No, I don't know. Like I know them and I know they're awesome, and I don't know why I don't have one. They're not that expensive. Just like get one. But yeah, clip it onto the apron. That'd be sweet.
Yeah, it's like the woodworking pencil. I buy them by the gross just so that like I can walk into my shop and throw them into the air so that there will always be one within 6 feet of me.
Yep.
That's my secret.
Yep.
So Hunter, what was it like coming into the maker community? I mean, how many events have you been to? I mean, how did that unravel for you?
Yeah. I started social media like 2.5 years ago, kind of like doing content. And I actually was on TikTok mostly. And that's where I met a lot of people. We call it Wood Talk over there. So like I met Brandon, Cross and Miter, a couple other guys, and like Sean Kirsch. Everyone knows Sean Kirsch, you know. And so yeah, it wasn't soon after that. The first event I went to was Makers Camp, and that was actually only last year. Yeah, so I'm still new to the scene, but Makers Camp, Rust Fest is one that I went to. That's up in Canada with Jack Forsberg. It's a little bit lower key. If you like old machinery, that's where you go. But so yeah, I mean, really, Makers Camp is, other than Texas Woodworking Festival. Other than that one, I haven't been to too many. We actually hosted one this year. I hosted an event, and we called it the Maine Woodworking Event. Yeah, the main event for shorthand, you know. That was this August, and that was like super good time, super fun, successful for our first year. So next year we'll do it again, which is fun. But no, I'm you know, like, it all started on TikTok, and then, you know, done some Instagram, and slowly getting more into Instagram, and then doing some YouTube content is the plan. But I am fresh to the scene, and it's like fun to meet everybody in person and like hang out at these events. And like, I'm a little more socially awkward in person, but like, I just try to remember we're all woodworkers, and like we can nerd out and it's okay. So yeah, it's good to meet everybody and like spend time. So I'm excited for Makers Camp this year. I'm a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more people kind of know of me at least, so it gives me a little bit of a foot in the door. So yeah, it'll be fun.
Come to the lathe, come get awesome.
Yeah.
Come play with fancy tools. And yeah, no, what I loved about Maker Camp, well, last year I didn't understand what the scope and scale of the event was. I thought it was going to be 10% of what I actually saw. And that blew me away. But when you realize that that entire complex is just a bunch of dorks that are the same kind of dork as you, right? And like, they all want to be dorky with you. Like, everybody does.
Yeah.
And it's not like a kumbaya love fest, but at the same time, it's like everybody wants to share the same enthusiasm that you have for your niche nerdy, right?
Yep.
And if you want to go explore a new nerdy, right? Like, there's a litany of people over there waiting to be like, oh, come on in, let me show you how dorky I am and teach you everything that I know about stuff. It's majestic, and I'm really excited this year to come back and be able to be the come in and let me share with you this fire hose of knowledge. And, you know, maybe you'll take something away or pick up a lathe down the road and get awesome, because people who turn square things round are obviously the coolest woodworkers.
There you go. I always you aren't gonna like this, but I always say I'm saving turning for my retirement.
Hey man, can't blame you.
I'll do it someday on the road.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just always eternally angry that like all of these maker events are so far from me. Like, you and I, Hunter, are literally as far away from each other as we possibly could be in the United States. I have friends in Canada that are closer to me than you are. But your Instagram, you're sitting around like 9,300. So to all of our listeners, please go follow Hunter and let's get him to that 10K, because he deserves it so much.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's kind of funny to like look at numbers like that, and then when you put that into perspective, you're like, you think about how many people that is, you're like, wow, this is cool.
Yeah,
this is
for
cool.
Sure.
But yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, for some people, I mean, it's like one viral video that's like, they just like blow up. It's like 100K overnight. But And then there's some people who've been at it for like 10 years and they're at like 5K. But I think at the end of the day, like brands don't care as much about numbers as they used to. It used to be like, oh, we're not gonna mess with you if you have like under 50K, and but I don't feel like it's like that anymore. I think that brands look at your content and what you create and how you compose yourself and your presence more than they care about the numbers at this point, which I think is great.
Yeah, I think that's somewhere I need to like dive into more. Is like I can maybe do that more. I can maybe work with some brands more. We'll see. We'll see. That's the next steps. Next steps.
Well, yeah, and then it always astounds
should.
me how far a pretty please or just like a gentle ask will actually get you.
Mm-hmm.
And then because we're all, in social media, I can't express to our listeners who may be hesitant how easy it is to send messages to the people that you kind of look up to and like ask questions and then get a response in sometimes months, sometimes in hours. Like everybody sort of approaches that kind of thing a little bit different, but we all want to chat with you, especially like the Instagram maker community specifically. I really feel like it's the most supportive and lovey-dovey of the social medias in terms of like lifting each other up and being helpful and wanting to hang out. And I will openly admit that I have not been able to understand TikTok, and it's an age gap problem. And it's also like somehow I can't get the right bricks in the wall of my algorithm to send me anything other than just complete pap. And like, I fell out of love with TikTok real quick because they were like, oh, you're Midwestern and you're 42 years old. Let me tell you all these things that we think you should like. And I don't like any of that stuff.
Yeah.
And so that was problematic for me. Also, I was like, why is everybody swiping through all of this? What?
Yeah.
And so like you have to build that algorithm to create that experience for yourself. And I was like, nobody got time for that. I got little kids.
Yeah. No, I hear that. I'm slowly moving away, as things are always a little weird over there. So try to get into different places.
Still lucrative as a content creator as opposed to completely not lucrative?
I don't think it's very lucrative as a like making money through like their programs or whatever. It kind of turned into a little bit of like a, what is that TV channel that you sell things on?
QVC.
Because they added like a marketplace, and so like it turned into a little bit of QVC there. It's less aggressive now than it used to be, but that's how most people make money on it. I don't do any of that. We just, it's the similar reason to post on Instagram. It's just like share your story and your journey and your woodworking with other people that like it. And once you get that tailored algorithm, like it does do a good job. But I 100% hear you, and like stay in your lane.
Okay, but so I just had to pull it up. You're at 88,471 followers. I'm not 71. Just followed you back.
Nice.
But you hit that 10,000 mark on TikTok, and I wonder. There are maker friends on TikTok, and I wonder how much money they can make, because we all know Instagram is not paying us as creators, really at all. You can get paid on Facebook, you can get paid on TikTok, but I mean, would you want to cross that line to 10K so that you can be in the creator fund? I don't think you have to sell stuff on TikTok Shop to make money on it.
Yeah, you don't have to. No, maybe I said that wrong. I don't know how. Like, I know several guys and people that are over that number on TikTok, but like the issue currently is like you don't get the views on TikTok because like I don't know, like it's interesting. So like you can have a bunch of followers, and a lot of the people that I know have a bunch of followers on TikTok, but get like 2,000 views on their videos, because that's just not what the algorithm is feeding people. Regardless of, like, there's a certain level of, you know, quality of content, and, you know, as is with every other platform, but you know, it's different. I don't know, it's different over there because you aren't. Yeah, I don't know. There's less of a user base than on other platforms. So, like, there's less of a woodworker user base on TikTok than there is on Instagram or YouTube or what have you. So it's tougher to get out of that sphere, that small sphere. But that's, yeah, again, like, that hasn't been the reason I've wanted to do social media in the past. Like, I haven't really cared about the numbers or cared about money and anything like that. So that's, yeah, I don't know. It was just, that was where I first found community. And now I'm finding community in Instagram too. I'm like, oh, this is sweet. I love this. More friends.
Yeah. I like that Instagram works like a sort of living portfolio for a lot of makers as well. Like the whole app is catered really well to capturing work attractively, either in still or video, and then putting a caption with a date and ways to entice people who might be, for whatever reason, looking for what you're doing, driving them there. So it kind of is real streamlined in that regard, as opposed to like building out a WordPress or a full website, or trying to put together like an e-store with descriptions for all of that stuff. I like that Instagram streamlines all of that.
Yeah. And that was for a while there, like, that's why I was posting on TikTok, is because I felt like Instagram had to be like this professional atmosphere for my business. Like, so I only had stills. I didn't even get good photography. Like, I'm actually like the worst at remembering to take photographs of pieces. Like, there's so many pieces that I've done that aren't anywhere in, like, other than in the client's home, because I forget. Like, and so for a while I felt like that way about Instagram. I was like, I can't be like goofy, like TikTok feels like unprofessional, like, in a way, you know, like I'm just chatting with my friends, that I felt on Instagram for a while. And I eventually like got past that and was like, people, whether you're buying from me, like, you like me and my personality and all that stuff is important for clients as well. But also, like, truly, most of my clients just find me through my website, like, don't follow me on social media also. So, like, whatever, but I'm fun. Like, I can be goofy on Instagram. It's chill. Like, you can see me making things, or, you know, it's whatever. But
I do think it's cool, like, when it comes to like the social media aspects where you can make money, like getting monetized, whether it's YouTube, TikTok, or Facebook. I'm not going to say Instagram because they don't pay anything anymore. But I do think it is cool for creators to get to that point, because, like you're saying, like, you're still trying to figure out like your niche and what you really want to do. So if you had a supplemental income like that, you could really play around and just like go crazy on some stuff, which would be, it's really cool to see creators get to that point where they have like FU money and can be like, I'm just going to build this because I want to. And it's cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I've definitely gotten that like itch recently to be like, that would be cool. Like, so I have like some YouTube content in the works, and, you know, a bunch of stuff that, like, YouTube is pretty like the best to get like money from, in my opinion, from what I've heard from people, you know. So like, if you get a good following over there, then like that helps a little bit. So I have some, like, we're currently posted up on a workbench. I built a Rubo workbench that's like pretty heavily designed after Padula Studios workbench, but kind of has my own flares to it. So that's like a kind of cool video, and, you know, I'm just like spending a long time trying to edit it and make it good, but it's all just like new world editing and all this stuff. But like, yeah, I don't know. We're having some pretty big life changes. We have our first child coming in February. Yeah, it's very exciting. But I'm like, I'd love to have like a little bit of more flexibility. I already have like a flexible life, being self-employed. But it'd be cool to build stuff for myself, build stuff for us, and just like be creative and have that other source of income and stuff. So like I've got a crib design in the works that's kind of crazy and super cool, and like bent laminations and veneer work, and so that'll be a YouTube video eventually, like all that fun stuff. But yeah, it's cool.
I love that. Before we do another lap from our sponsors, do you want to take, I don't know, 3 or 4 minutes to talk about your process for prospecting commission work? Like advertising, reaching out, networking, what is working? Just because we do have people who watch the show who might be thinking, like it would be really cool to be able to go pro or have a semi-steady stream of work to send out. What is working for you either in the beginning or different from then that's working now?
Yeah. I mean, that's like, I answer this question a lot because most people are interested when they hear you do it professionally. And it's tricky to give like a solid answer because different locations meet different criteria. Like personally in my area, the biggest driver of work is just genuinely my website. Like I have a fairly clean website. It's not crazy, but it is updated and like modern.
What do you use for your website?
Squarespace is who I use. But I have like a good video of like a well-produced video that I had done like with my about me and just like talking about what it is to get a piece with me or whatever, and like beautiful shots of woodworking throughout. And then just like decent pictures of your work up there. And just like making it approachable so somebody like clicks on your website and doesn't feel super intimidated or like, I don't know. There's a lot of furniture makers in Maine, actually. Like we have a huge like swath of makers. But like most of their websites are pretty trash. So I've asked a load, like all my clients, like, where did you find me? What brought you here? And it's always just like, you had a nice website and you had good work on there. And like, I emailed you. And also like the biggest thing in my opinion is also like being responsive, like get back to people in a timely manner, and like you're just gonna foster a good relationship with your clients. I don't do any like formal advertising. Like I don't have marketing money that I use. Like I occasionally do things here and there randomly, but it like for me doesn't seem to give me much of an uptick in work. The biggest drivers for me are repeat clients and then word of mouth through previous clients. And I've gotten some work through social media. Actually, TikTok, I got a good job through actually a builder in Maine who found me and was like, hey, I need this big Murphy bed project. That was when I did a cabinetry because it was a good job. But so like, putting your work on there is valuable to me as well. But as for advertising, I don't like do Google AdSense or Facebook ads or anything like that.
Just hiding your hashtags down at the bottom of a well-built website so that when somebody looks for Eastern Maine woodworker custom furniture.
Yep, basically.
And like a series of zip codes that are close to you hidden in white text at the bottom. Is that kind of the sneaky stuff?
Yeah, I did that a little bit. But I don't know. It's just seemingly for some reason, and I like did some good SEO stuff in the beginning, but I haven't updated it in like 3 years probably.
I do not understand SEO.
Yeah, it's pain. It's a pain.
It's
but it's seemingly been well for me. So
that is awesome. Okay, so is there anything else that you wanted to talk about this evening that perhaps you did not get a chance to speak about?
I guess like the only thing would be I would do a little bit more of a promo for our woodworking event, if that's cool.
Yeah, we want to hear more about the is it the main event still?
The main event, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Share.
Yep. So the main woodworking event, or the main event for shorthand, was basically just came out of like conception of us going to a couple other makers events and gathering tidbits from one and liking things from others and trying to consolidate that and just bring another more intimate woodworking event for our community, because in my opinion we don't have enough of them. And yeah, we have a handful of like big ones that we all make big trips to get to, but it's like we need more localized ones that maybe don't have to be on that grand scale. So yeah, this year we had our first event. It was just a one-day event, but we had speakers, demonstrators, and we had booths all around with vendors and stuff like that. This year we had like Shaper was here. We had Bad Axe Toolworks, of course. They're always a pleasure to have. Cass, Lee Nielsen's here, of course, because that's in Maine. Heartwood Tools, a couple local craftsmen, Center for Furniture Craftsmanship, and a handful of others. And we had a bunch of hands-on stuff for you to do. And like, it went really well. And like, we had nearly 200 people here for our first year, which was huge for us. That was a great turnout. And then we had presentations and demonstrations in like a big tent with, a TV screen and recording and mics and audio, where we had like a hand cut dovetail class go on. We had Rex Kruger do a talk on like conceptualizing an idea for a tool and then like bringing that to manufacturing. We had a woodworker who is the head of the Department of Small Business in Tennessee, who runs a small business, like do a talk on like leveraging governmental grants and structures to like help grow your business, and also like structure your business, and a bunch of other little things like that. How to sharpen a card scraper was actually a huge demo. People loved that one, because it's one of those things that like, it's somewhat intimidating, but when it's done well, it's an amazing tool. And we also like leaned heavily into giveaways this year. Like we gave out so much stuff, like it was crazy. Some amazing brands came through for us and gave us some stuff to give away. So next year we're turning it into 2 days, making it bigger, bringing more brands, more presentations. And this is all in Scarborough, Maine. I'm like 10 minutes from the Portland airport, which is kind of cool. It's a little easier to get to than Makers Camp for most people, but not the same event whatsoever. But good time. And yeah, it was a blast. And we look to do it every year and just like continue to grow it. And it's fun.
What is your place in the event and planning and stuff? Like, is it you and who? Like,
yeah. So me and Brandon Crossenmiter were the ones that kind of like organized it this year, and like we used a lot of his, because he's been like in the space a little bit longer than me. We leveraged a lot of his like connections with brands in the industry, and then I kind of did a lot of the logistical. It's at my property, so I needed to be doing the logistics basically. But yeah, no, so that's just us two as like the heads. And this year we'll see, I might try to bring somebody else in to do a little bit more of the logistical stuff, because I'm going to have a newborn baby and, maybe be a little bit busy. So we'll see. Just a little bit busy. Yeah. But that's my spiel. Check it out. We have an Instagram, Maine Woodworking Event. We have a website, all that stuff. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So looking forward to doing it again.
Yeah, I got to pick your brain about trying to find a way to do one of those in the middle of the country.
Yeah.
Or in Washington State.
Yeah.
I want everyone to come my way. Everything's so far away.
Yeah.
We are at about 54 minutes on the episode. We try to be respectful of your time. So we are going to do the fastest run through sponsors one more time and then get to the final question. All right.
Yep.
Thank you, Surf Prep. Your support is awesome. Your 3x4 wiggle sander is the coolest tool that any cool kid could ever have. And if you guys are in the market for abrasives, you should check out Surf Prep's abrasives as well. The little foam back pads get into all of the nooks and crannies. So if you want the smoothest wood on the block, let me tell you, go to Surf Prep, save some money, use coupon code Sawdust Talk. If you want Sawdust Talk merch, CaseyBombshell.com is where you're going to go to look for that. I don't think I have talked to Layla about teeny weeny beanies, but I really feel like teeny weeny beanies with the Sawdust Talk logo kind of needs to happen as the must-have accessory for fall. And then Patreon/Sawdust Talk. Let's find a way to sponsor Jessie's internet connectivity so that everything can go as smooth as humanly possible. Big City Jessie, we love you. We heart you. We're gonna get you that internet one day. All right. So Hunter, every week, the final question that we ask our guests is for like a motivational quote or a thought or a reason for our listeners to like maybe open the door to the workshop for the first time in a while, or maybe for the third time that day, get in, pick up a tool, make a mess, and get generally awesome. What would you like to share with our viewers and listeners?
Yeah, I think like Jessie complimented me earlier. Thank you. Like saying I've done like a lot of things in woodworking. And I think like my mentality and mindset, and I briefly said it earlier, I think is just like try something new. Like if there's something that excites you or interests you that you've seen in design or something, like it might be something you've never done before, but like just try it. And if it doesn't go well, you try it again and you get a little better at it. But I think once that mentality and like that mindset shifts of like, I can do that. Like, you know, it's going to be a little learning curve, but I can do that. Like your progression and like you kind of get this like exponential growth of like all of a sudden you're just ingesting more information, you're learning new techniques, and all of a sudden like your woodworking level just like becomes more than just baseline, if that makes sense. And you can grow and learn really quickly. Because like, you know, a lot of people in this industry deal with imposter syndrome, and you see other people, you know, we're all in this social media space. Like you see other people doing amazing things. And sometimes that can be disheartening for people and intimidating for people. But being there myself 5 years ago, just getting started in woodworking, like if you can think through that and say, you know what, I just need to give this a go. The people on the internet are showing me this because it's cool and they want me to try this. Like it's a good shift. And you'll grow so quickly and learn so much so quickly. So yeah, try new things. And yeah, that's what I would say. Get in your shop. Clean your shop too. Clean your shop.
EJ, he's talking to you.
I didn't have to go far to get that, and it's a very, very small percentage.
Oh my gosh, that was absolutely perfect. I loved every word of that. It's so true for so many of us, and we all feel it. So, and that's why we asked you to come on, because we want to get to know you and hear your side of woodworking. But want to thank everybody. This has been episode 171 of Sawdust Talk with Hunter and TJ. You want to take us out?
We might see you guys next week. Same bat time, same bad channel, but we're going to be in upstate New York next Wednesday. So we shall see. Maybe we'll go live from Maker Camp for a few minutes.
Maybe.
We might be busy playing D&D. Like, I can't tell you what's going to be happening, but it's going to be awesome. And we want to see you there.
Thank you, Hunter. We appreciate you.
Thanks, guys. It was fun.
Bye.